travelers, and welcome to Go See, Do, Explore.
Here, we dive deep into the heart of travel, sharing hidden gems, unforgettable experiences, and the stories that make each destination unique.
Whether you're a seasoned traveler or dreaming of your next getaway, you're in the right place to get inspired.
I'm Christopher.
And I'm Ashleigh.
And together, we'll set the course for your next great adventure and discover the stories that make each place unforgettable.
It's time to go, see, and do more. Let's explore. Hello, everybody. We are back for another episode. And this time we're not talking about Italy for the first time in a while. But instead, I thought I would go back to at least one of our favorite podcast formats. And that is the top 10. You probably know this by the title. But for this episode, we are talking about our top 10 places that we want to visit.
That we haven't been.
The places we want to visit for the first time. If you want to know what places we are excited to return to, you can go back to, I don't know, it was episode like 3 or 4, I feel like.
It was single digits, definitely.
Yeah. We were on a train when we recorded it.
You can Google search it.
So for the top 10s, what we do is we each come up with 5, our top 5. We have not discussed it in advance. And so we each announce each of our items, and it's a fun discussion. I hope you enjoy listening to them.
I found this one kind of challenging because a place is so loosely defined. And it's one thing when you say you're going to return somewhere, you usually have a sense of like what that means. But to go to a place, like you could name a city or a country or a park or an intersection or, you know.
I want to go back to Kroger.
Yeah. You know, I mean, we're joking about intersection, but someone could say like Times Square, right? I mean, it's a little more than an intersection, but it's basically an intersection.
Does anybody ever want to return to Times Square though?
I don't know.
Oh, we're not talking about, we're talking about for the first time.
In any case, we tried to kind of keep it to be at least a cohesive vacation. So you're not saying like, I want to go to like, I don't know, Asia or something like that. It's just too broad. But, you know, within that, we kind of interpreted our own way. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
All right. Who's going first?
Why don't you go first?
All right. So the first one on my list shouldn't come as a surprise, but this was one that I had a hard time going more specific on.
Mm-hmm. That's okay.
So the first on my list is Hawaii.
Yeah, that feels fine.
I don't really know. I haven't done the research, so I don't exactly know where in Hawaii I want to go. Honestly, my dream Hawaiian vacation would be some kind of island hopping situation where you'd see a lot of it. Because I don't know if you know this about me, people of the internet. I don't like to stay still and stay in one place on vacation. I want to, go from Sicily to Venice in 3 weeks.
Yeah. Sometimes that's nice, and sometimes it's, it's not always nice. But it's good. Sometimes you like to get to know a place, too, and stay a long time, but no, we don't do that.
No. But Hawaii obviously is known for its, wonderful weather, beautiful beaches. It just seems like a really nice place that I want to visit. I do have the goal, I don't know if it's your goal so much, but I do have a goal to visit all 50 United States before I turn 40. So my thought is Hawaii will be like the last one, will be the end, the culminating experience.
Yeah. I mean, I think your goal is my goal because I imagine I'm probably going to, right?
No, I'm going on a solo trip to Hawaii. One thing I'm excited about the idea of Hawaii is to do a little comparison. I know we've talked before about how much we love Puerto Rico. So to kind of do a comparison between, the tropical United States state versus its territory.
Yeah, we should do a trip where we go to both.
There you go.
Yeah.
Are there any...
What would it be like to fly from Puerto Rico to...
San Juan to Honolulu?
Or in the other direction, yeah. That would be interesting. That's actually my number one, is flying between them.
You should do a top 10 flights you want to do.
Yeah, actually, that would be good.
I don't know that I have a list.
I could just do a solo one. Yeah.
All right. Anyway, what is the first place on your list?
I struggled with exactly how to put this together. If this is one trip, if this is 2 trips, I'm not really sure. But number one, probably no surprise to Ashleigh anyway, is some combination of the Mendoza wine region in Argentina, as well as Buenos Aires. Like, I don't know if that's actually one trip or if that's 2 trips. I would like to go to both places. It feels like, in all likelihood, given international flights and how they're structured, that we would probably go to both in the same trip. flying into Buenos Aires and then from there to Mendoza. But if you don't know Mendoza, it's a region, it's a province of Argentina, and it's also a city in that province. It's in kind of northwestern Argentina, not very, very north, but kind of northwest central, I guess, right on the border with Chile. It's in the Andes, very, very high up, and they grow wine there. Is the world's leading producer of Malbec. If you're familiar with Malbec, a type of grape, a type of wine, they do it best there. They're very proud of it. And it's a really unique and interesting growing environment because of the high altitude, and just it's a very unique climate there. And it's a beautiful looking place. I've obviously never been, but it's a place that's been calling to me, I think, since 2020, when I was sitting at home and kind of scrolling the internet. I was like, where can I, not where can I go in that moment, but like where can I go in the future, because I need to think about future trips. And I came up with this idea of this like Mendoza trip, not knowing much about the region other than I liked the wine. And it's been kind of a little obsession. Buenos Aires also, is in the eastern part of the country. It's near the ocean. It's a very different sort of place than Mendoza, but even the Spanish is different Spanish in Buenos Aires than it is out west. But very cool, kind of European feeling city. It's a city that was built by people from all sorts of European places as well as American places, and there's a strong like Italian population. It's really, if you haven't looked into kind of like the makeup of Buenos Aires or its history, like I think you'd be pretty shocked to find out just like how unique and cosmopolitan it is. And like the architecture is very European. It looks to me a lot like Paris. I feel like they always look sort of similar. And just another place I would really like to go, probably for the same trip. I don't know.
This obviously did not come as a surprise to
No.
me. At times, how there are Japanophiles. I have described Chris as an Argentinophile.
Well, yeah, this is the more I've learned. Their obsession with meat. It's pretty great. Like,
we've had asados at our house.
Yeah. It's been something, and I try. I hope it's not like a gross obsession the way that some people get like weirdly obsessed with other cultures. But it's a place that I want to go, and it's a place that's kind of hard to go. So, you can learn about the culture right here in other ways, and that's kind of what I've done.
So the next on my list shouldn't be surprising to you, and that is Scotland. I know Outlander has drawn a lot of Americans.
Here we are.
Americans and other English speakers to want to visit Scotland. And I have to say that my love of Outlander 1 came from before the television show, before the Stars show. I enjoyed the books, and I wanted to visit Scotland because of that. But then obviously, if you've ever seen the show Outlander, it is filmed in Scotland, and it just looks so beautiful.
Yeah, I know it looks like a really cool place to visit. I would like to visit there too. I don't think it's on my list, but I feel like a lot of the sites are kind of have a little bit of the Upper Peninsula Michigan kind of feel, but more dramatic.
Dramatic.
Yeah. It's like a more dramatic version of the UP.
Yeah, but the same like kind colors in the rocks and stuff like that. And obviously it was, I don't know where we're going with them, but
yeah, it
just looks like a beautiful place. And then you got to try haggis, right?
I guess.
Would you try haggis if we went to Scotland?
I'm not gonna say no. I don't know that I'm gonna like seek it out, but I try to keep an open mind and an open palate.
Yeah. I don't know any more specific in Scotland where I'd want to go. Once again, I think it would be kind of a, you want to see the cities, you want to see Edinburgh, you want to see the Highlands, you want to go to Culloden.
Probably some Scotch places.
Yeah, I'm not really a whiskey person, but I will probably try it in Scotland.
I'm revising my list right now.
Oh, you're changing things up?
I'm adding a place I forgot. I don't know about the order of this list. I'm feeling really insecure about my list. 5 is not enough, once again. But no, it's Scotland. Yeah, I would love to go on that trip.
Yeah, there was a cruise I was looking at for a while that did the British Isles. I thought would be a really cool way to see Scotland, Ireland, Wales, and I think England. I think it sailed in and out of London or something.
Wales, I'll say Wales is not on my list, but since you mentioned it, I'll feel like I can jump on it. Wales is an ancestral home for part of my family, and we actually know a lot about where they lived, and so hopefully I can tack that on to a Scotland trip too. that would be kind of cool.
I assumed that's what you were just adding onto your list. That's why.
No. I just hope that my ancestral castle is not a caravan park.
Yes, if you want to know more about Scotland, if you want to see some of the sights and see what there is to do, watch Men in Kilts on Stars. It's great.
Yeah.
And yes, was it Graham McTavish?
Yeah.
His ancestral home is now what they call in the UK a caravan park. In the US, we'd probably call it an RV park or a campground.
Yeah, it was like mobile homes too, wasn't there? Like it didn't look super great. Yeah.
Good times.
Yeah.
All right, what's next on your list?
Okay, this one might surprise you.
Okay.
Number 2 on my list, I would like to go to the Alaska interior.
Oh.
This was, I think, as much as I loved our Alaska trip a couple of years ago, one of the kind of regrets I have about that trip, regret is a strong word, but we barely scratched the surface of what Alaska is, and we kind of did just like the part that's very southern, and a lot of people go there, and it's very scenic and really cool. But I feel like I want to have like a real Alaska experience, you know what I mean? Where we go like way into like, whether it's going to Denali or I don't know, but like, yeah, like into the heart of that crazy place.
I know I recently, so in my journey of wanting to visit all 50 states, I discovered that there's a website where you can make a map of not just the states that you visited, but the counties that you visited. And checking off the 3 spots that we were in Alaska was kind of similar to checking off St. Louis in Missouri and being like, I've seen it.
Yeah.
I didn't realize, having been to St. Louis, I didn't realize how little that is in in Missouri. You barely cross the border. Right. I mean, it's right on the river, but it was the same kind of thing in Alaska. Although we did get Haines, which I think most people don't.
That's true. That's true. But yeah, there's so much to see there. I mean, even an interior trip would just scratch the surface, but I feel like when I think of Alaska in my mind, that's more what I imagine. It's like a really rugged wilderness in the middle of nowhere. We were in a place that was quite rugged, but it was also very connected for Alaska anyway. I mean, there's barges and there's airports and, I mean, not a lot of roads, but it's pretty connected for Alaska.
Yeah, I think it'd be kind of cool to do a driving trip where you drive up the Alaska highway. I think that'd be cool.
That would be cool.
Denali, obviously.
Or that train. There's that.
All right. This is another one I think that won't come as a surprise to you. Did you see my list?
No.
Oh, okay. And that is Provence.
Oh, yeah.
Good one. I really feel like, honestly, since we were in St. Martin, we went to Nice, SXM, I've been like, I need to go to Nice.
Yeah.
You've seen the pictures of the lavender fields, which we have been to the Provence of the United States, and that is Sequim, Washington.
That's right.
Where they also have the lavender fields. But to go to France and to see that and to, the Côte d'Azur, sorry, my French.
Yeah.
I apologize to the people of France. I thought about putting this higher on my list, but then I thought about how I don't know the language, and so I put it down lower.
This is not on my list. I actually thought about putting it on my list too. I think I was going to go more of a Marseille angle, but still Provence. I mean, it's still definitely that same part of the world. Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like when most people think about France, they think of Paris. Rightly so. I mean, the Olympics is going on.
Some people think about the French Riviera and stuff like that, this is sort of in that area,
But I feel like going down to Provence it's just a totally different feel from Paris. A little bit slower, a little bit quieter.
More agricultural,
yeah. Now that I can say that I've been to Paris.
You walked 7 miles there, whatever it was.
Yeah, I walked many 25,000 steps according to my phone.
Yeah.
All right. I think it is time for a wine break.
Time for a wine break. We're here for the wine break, and we have something a little bit different today. We have something I bought at Mobby. You've heard of Mobby. We've talked about it before. Bought this a couple of years ago at Mobby and just opened it, I think, last week or 2 weeks ago. It's an aperitif wine that they call yarrow. Yarrow, if you don't know, I didn't know, is a plant. It's a flowering plant. It's native to the northern hemisphere, at least according to the bottle. I'm reading the bottle.
Is that the plant that people often get mixed up with ragweed?
Oh, it could be. I'm not sure. It kind of looks like it. I guess again, I'm learning from the bottle here, but I guess it's been used to treat wounds as well as to flavor beer. So this is an aperitif wine. Now, Mauby, we've mentioned many times before, from Leelanau Peninsula, Suttons Bay, Michigan. They specialize in sparkling wine. But this is something they made at least a couple years ago. I don't know if they're still making it.
I think it's still on their website.
They recommend serving it chilled on the rocks with a lemon or lime garnish. They also consider serving it with sparkling water, sparkling wine, or in your favorite gin or vodka cocktail in the place of vermouth. So it's sort of a bitter fortified wine in a similar style to vermouth, I would say, but with different herbs. I mean, it can be used in the same way. We got to try this a couple years ago. They had us try it, I think, just on the rocks, and then they had us try it with some of their sparkling wine. What I have for us today is I have it just on a rock. Just one ice cube, just to chill it down a little bit. I didn't want to dilute it too much, just to get the flavor of it. And then I made us spritzes with it. So I made, it's 3 parts Prosecco, 2 parts of this Yarrow, and 1 part club soda. Typical spritz formula. We've been living the spritz life this summer.
Yeah, since we got back from Italy. Last year it was all Vigna Verde.
So let's try it both ways. We'll try it just simply chilled. What do you think of that?
It's definitely bitter, more bitter than something I would typically seek out.
Mm-hmm.
Very herby.
Yeah, it's got elderflower in there. I know you like elderflower usually. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little herby, a little flowery.
Mm-hmm. It's not strongly bitter, I would say. I mean, it's definitely bitter, no question. But compared to something even like Aperol, it's nowhere near.
No, it doesn't hit me in the back of the throat. I don't take a sip and go, like,
yeah.
whatever.
It has much more. It's been a while since I've just tried vermouth, and most of the vermouth we buy around here is really not good for drinking. It's pretty much for mixing. But I would think it probably has sort of similar qualities to vermouth in terms of its strength. But yeah, I mean, I really like it. This is something to sip on a hot day for sure. I think the theory with bitter drinks, be them alcoholic or non-alcoholic, is they're typically more refreshing than like a sugary drink. Like, I don't know, when I drink like a sugary lemonade, I find myself to be more thirsty afterwards than before I drank that lemonade. I mean, really, probably if you're thirsty, you should drink water. I think we all know that. But anyway, let's try the spritz. Yeah, it's pretty good. I think there's something about, I feel like Prosecco is the wrong wine for this. I mean, it's not bad.
I was actually going to say that I like the little bit of sweetness that it
You
adds.
like this, yeah. So maybe this is one that's right for you. I feel like, because I love like an Aperol spritz, I feel like this doesn't have quite enough of like a bitter kick, and it's quite acidic between the two. Like, you got kind of an acidic aperitif and an acidic Prosecco's pretty acidic. I think something to balance the acidity for me. But it sounds like it's the right balance for you.
What's something you would use to balance the acidity?
Cabernet Sauvignon. I don't know. I'd have to think about it. Yeah, something. I don't know. Maybe I would like a drier wine.
Yeah.
Like maybe a champagne. I mean, champagne's pretty expensive to do this with, but.
Well, we bought for one of the times when we were doing the spritzes, I was looking for an alternative to Prosecco for a spritz, just because you don't want to buy like a big, unless you're having a lot of people over, you don't want to open a big bottle of sparkling wine for a few spritzes. So I found the canned wines that they're selling in the grocery store now. I can't remember the brand, but it's less sweet than a Prosecco.
Yeah. I should mention too, before we wrap this up, that this is bottled under the brand Domaine Leelanau. So if you're looking for it, they still have Mauby.wine, which is their website, is on the bottle. It's made by Mauby, but just for whatever reason, they chose to brand this and not with the Mauby brand.
The Mauby brand might have to be sparkling. I honestly think that might be what it is.
Yeah. In any case, just if you're looking for it, it's Domaine Leelanau Yarrow.
Yeah, I don't know if you can find this anywhere outside the winery, but I believe it is still available on their website.
And yeah, so you can buy it online, and you should. Okay, good spritzes. We're back from the wine break, and I believe it is my turn. This is where, so I made this list. At first I was like, I don't really know. I had like 2 or 3, and then I got to 5, and I was happy with my 5. And then I kept coming up, of course, how it goes. I kept coming up with more, and then now I really feel weird about where I placed these. I don't know exactly what's right here, but I'm just going to go with my instincts. This is the one I was scribbling that I didn't have. And that is Mexico City. Everything I see, everything I read about Mexico City makes me really want to go there and experience it. It is the largest city in North America. I think some Americans are surprised to know that. They know that it's big, but they just don't realize how big it is.
I wouldn't, without reading that statistic, I would have assumed it was New York.
Yeah, it's not. It's Mexico City. It is also a really great tourist destination by everything I've seen and read. There's sort of a lingering thing that I think some Americans think about Mexico City with like air quality issues and things like that. And it's not that the city is perfect by any means, but a lot of that information is simply dated. A lot has changed since those situations were prevalent. The truth is that it's a world-class tourism city. It's an important world capital. And I mean, of course, it's the food of Mexico, right? So how could you not want to experience that? I struggled whether to say this or to say Oaxaca or to say let's do both. I'm interested in going to Oaxaca, but I think I'm going to say this. I think I'm just going to say Mexico City. Like if I had to pick one, I think it would be Mexico City. I think that's where I would want to go. So I'm going to say that.
Yeah, I agree with you. I put this on my list as well as Mexico City slash Oaxaca.
Okay, well, you can have Oaxaca then.
No, I've got other backups. It's fine.
Oh, okay.
But the food, the culture, the history, there's so much to Mexico City that I definitely want to go check it out. I feel like if we told our family we were going to Mexico City, they would be concerned that we're going to be kidnapped or murdered.
Your family.
Yeah. So that, there are some safety misconceptions. Like you said, it's the largest city in North America. So, I mean, cities come with a little bit of crime. That's pretty normal. But also, like, there's all those people there and they don't get kidnapped and murdered every day.
Right. Just understand the truth. That's all. It's not like there are zero risks to go there by any means, but just understand what you have to worry about and what you don't have to worry about. And that's it, really.
Tacos, carnitas.
And the chordi say that with like the weird dome thing. Anyway.
As with most things, we want to go to Mexico City because of the food. Culture second.
Architecture, I'd say too.
Yes. All right. So the next one on my list may or may not surprise you. We'll see. And that is Kyoto.
Okay. Yeah. Good. I can take this one off of my list.
Was it on your list?
I had Tokyo and Kyoto as one trip. Yeah.
So, I mean, even if you asked me probably 2 years ago, do you want to go to Japan? I would probably say, I don't know. Like, I'm never going to say no, I don't want to go anywhere.
Obviously not.
That's just not my personality, but...
Do you want to go to Sinaloa and hang out with the cartel?
No, that I can say I don't want to do. But I felt like writing off a whole country, a whole region, continent, is a little harsh. But... we recently, like many of my travel inspirations, comes from the travel television that we watch. And on Somebody Feed Phil, he went to Kyoto and it looked amazing. What I've seen of Tokyo in the past seems really busy and hectic and not really my speed. I'm not saying I would never want to go to Tokyo, but Kyoto seems just so much more preferred to me, I guess.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
So much more nature, and it feels like a city that retained more of its history, where Tokyo moved on and Tokyo became, this thriving modern metropolis. Kyoto holds a lot of that history back.
Yeah, and it may just be too that Tokyo is enormous, so probably all that history is there, but it's just surrounded by modern city, Yeah, I was really surprised to see what Kyoto was like, because not what I was expecting. I've wanted to go. Japan has never been like a number one destination for me, but it's been hanging around on my list for a long time, definitely. And after seeing Kyoto too, I was like, oh yeah, that's a place to go for sure.
All right, what do you have next?
All right, fourth one is the area. I would say this is how I would categorize it. I thought about different ways to say this, but the area of northern Spain that is the Camino de Santiago. So like kind of from the Pyrenees through the Basque Country, Bilbao, places like that, and then into Asturias too, and possibly then to Galicia. It's an area of the world that does not really get a lot of tourism play over here in the United States anyway.
That part, besides the Camino de Santiago itself, that was not even in the Rick Steves Spain book.
Right.
That shocked me.
So like I just recently was reading about Bilbao and seeing, the kinds of things you can do there. I learned about a new wine that I want to try. And Asturias, I have a connection there that has interested me in that region. And then of course on Jose Andres and family goes to Spain. They went there and it was really cool.
The cider.
And it looks so like green and lush and so different than what you think of when you think of Spain. Picos de Europa, the national park, it's a place. I think to me the food I'm sure is great there, but that's not like. I guess it's different than Mexico City, where I feel like the food is motivating me to Mexico City. I feel like the nature is motivating me first and foremost to northern Spain, into the Camino de Santiago. And I would even, Saint Jean de Luz or whatever. I can't speak in French. The city in France that's in the Basque Country too, right there on the Bay of Biscay. That would be really cool. That area. Maybe Pamplona, going to Nevada. I'm expanding it too far, but
we just call it Spain.
Northern Spain. Spain, the part of Spain that people don't think about as much, at least here. Yeah, that northern part of Spain, definitely.
I know this was your idea, one of the ideas that we had for this past vacation, and I steamrolled you, and I was like, we're going to Italy.
I know.
And it's not that I don't want to go there. I don't know. Italy was calling me more.
I don't really want to go to Italy. It was good. Italy was good. We spent 4 podcast episodes talking about it or whatever.
Should we talk about it some more? For my last one, I'm between 2 places, and I'm going to say Yosemite National Park.
Oh, right. Yeah. I was like, wait, we've been there, but no, we haven't.
We have not. We've been to California now twice. This was one of our many, many, many plans for the summer of 2020. And then our flights got canceled, and it's been calling me back. It just seems like one of the most beautiful places in the U.S., if not, North America or the world. I guess spring break is not the time to go to Yosemite.
It's not. Unless you like snow.
Yeah.
You want to do winter sports. That's a good time.
So Northern California, beautiful. The first ever piece of land put aside for conservation in the United States, and I think the world. Some great history there, and I don't know how we haven't been yet.
Yeah, it's crazy in the summer, and that's really when we could go.
Right.
That's why we haven't been there yet, probably. No, I'd obviously love to go there, too. We'll have to do a bonus round because I'm curious to know what your other one was, but we'll save it for the moment. I have a tough decision to make because you took care of Japan for me. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
I have 6. I'm going to say Australia, and in particular, the Barossa Valley and the area kind of around Southeast Australia. There are lots of places I'd love to go in Australia, but I felt like listing a whole continent was a little bit too broad. So that's what I'm going with for my specific one is Barossa Valley where they make wine, obviously.
Yes.
But yeah, it's just a place that's very hard to get to from here and looks super unique, and I'd love to go check it out, see the nature.
No, I would definitely like to go there. That's for sure.
Yeah, see some wildlife. Could use the Merlin app. Identify some birds. Okay.
Is that the end?
That's my last one. We should do a bonus one, I think.
Okay. So the one that I was between Yosemite is Costa Rica.
Yeah, that was on my list too. So that's good.
It just looks like an incredibly beautiful, naturally beautiful place with all kinds of different, there's the rainforest, there's the beach, there's cities. I hope it's okay that I didn't pick a specific place in Costa Rica because I don't know about it. I don't know enough about them.
San Jose is the capital.
That's where the big airport is.
You can fly Spirit there.
Ooh.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's a good one. I would certainly go there too. I got a weird one. I have some other options, but I'm going to go with a weird one. And that is the island of St. Helena.
Okay.
So it's
off the coast of Africa.
It's off, but it's pretty significantly off the coast of Africa. So this is where they exiled Napoleon the second time. It's a British territory, or I don't know, it might be independent now, but it has British affiliation.
Really hard for Napoleon to come back from all the way down.
Yeah, because the first time they put him at Elba, which is right here. I'm like, okay. Didn't really do much. But that's not, I wouldn't say I'm a super Napoleon buff or anything like that. It's just a really interesting place in world history, and is supposed to be interesting to visit. I think my recollection is they have a really odd form of government too. People basically take turns governing. I don't know. It's in the middle of the South Atlantic. It'd be a place that not a lot of people that that you don't have been to.
Alrighty.
I think the weather's good.
You know, I'm going to add another one that I forgot about.
Then I will too. Fine.
That I forgot about when I was writing my list. And this was a place that we came pretty close to visiting as a layover on this last trip, and that is Istanbul.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah. It's another one of those places that I never really considered until, you know, we watched a travel show that went to Istanbul, and that one is Travel Man, which is probably one of Chris's favorite shows.
It's maybe my favorite show. Yeah.
But yeah, Istanbul just looks really, really cool. But it's a really cool thing that Turkish Airlines does is that if you are flying from the US to places in Europe, if you book a round trip flight through Turkish Air, you can get a layover in Istanbul where they will pay for everything. Like maybe not food, but they pay for your hotel. They'll give you a tour. They'll provide you with a tour guide. And I just think that is a really cool way to see a place. And we came very close to booking a flight home through Turkish Air, but then we went with French Bee, obviously, and we got upgraded to lay flat seats. So I don't have any complaints in that department, but going to Istanbul would have been cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a cool, like, intersection of cultures kind of a city, I think. Okay, between these two, I'm going to say Singapore.
Oh.
Yeah. I was trying to think of, like, destinations in Africa and Asia because I didn't want to keep this just like centered around Europe and the Americas. And Singapore is one that I think is really interesting. Like it's a city that's a country, right? And it's another one of those places where there's a tremendous intersection of cultures, and it's supposed to be pretty accessible for Western tourists. And yeah, I think there's a Kenny Rogers Roasters in the airport there. Really
that's the airport that has like the crazy fountain, right?
Changi Airport. Yeah, I think that's the one that
it's like a waterfall or something.
Yeah.
I want to throw in one more. I'm having a real problem.
Oh, that's good because I only have one left. So we can just
I'll just throw it out there.
Top 20.
And you know, if you want to stay out of the Western mindset, I'm going to go Hong Kong.
Yeah, that's a good one. I'd do that. Anything about it?
Well,
Travel Man. Do you want to get a corduroy suit?
I think what I love about it is kind of the mesh of the Asian culture with the British culture.
Yeah,
is really interesting to me.
And the Portuguese too. I think maybe not. Right. They were over there certainly. Mm-hmm. They were in Japan too.
Yeah,
that's good. Okay. Go to Hong Kong. The last one I have on my list. I don't really know enough about this place to be more specific, so I had South Africa, and especially, like, probably the wine-growing regions to stick with a theme. I don't know, maybe go on a safari like we saw on The Reluctant Traveler. But yeah, it's another part of the world that just looks really cool that I would love to go, and those flights look horrible. But once you're there, you're there, so that would be nice.
Could also add Seoul, South Korea to my list.
Yeah, let's just keep going. Where else?
Nebraska. I haven't been there yet. No, I think we have been to Nebraska. Haven't been to Arkansas.
Arkansas.
Did you know that it's actually not pronounced Arkansas?
Hot Springs, Arkansas. Would be a good one. All right.
That became like the top 20, but it's okay.
Maybe we should stop this. There's our top whatever.
All right, so the travel tip that I have for you for this episode is when you are traveling somewhere and when you're trying to find places to eat, check out Eater articles. I've been getting ads a lot recently for the Eater article for San Francisco. And before we went to San Francisco, I did actually reference that. And they're really great because they will give you food options for, if you want a really, really fancy, $4 or $5 sign restaurant, and then also, kind of budget place to go. They'll give you ideas of places to eat in different parts of town.
I always, when I'm going to a new airport, I always look at Eater because Eater has the best guides for eating in an airport. So if you're going to an airport and you have to eat, and you're like, what does this airport have that's good? Because there'll be every airport, I shouldn't say every airport, but most airports have some unique options that might be some local restaurant might have like a a counter service in the airport or something like that. Just something to try that's different from fast food or like the Chili's too or whatever. And so I always consult those whenever I'm traveling through airports, especially airports I don't know.
But one thing I'll do with these eater articles is I will take the places that are mentioned and create a Google map. And so then no matter where you are in your journey and your exploration of a city, you are able to see what's near you. Now, obviously, if that's a restaurant that is requires a reservation, that's not going to help you very much. You should probably make a reservation when you're doing the air map thing in that instance. But yeah, I feel like those eater articles are a better way to find good restaurants than looking at TripAdvisor or something like that. I used to really love TripAdvisor, but I feel like now that they're so sponsorship based and so like ad based, it's not as reliable as it used to be. Like, yeah, it'll still show people's reviews, but it's not the best restaurants at the top of the page anymore. So I definitely prefer to go with a more knowledgeable source, like Eater or like with a guidebook. And then when we are someplace and we're looking for something to eat around us, I usually go to Google Maps and you can see the reviews and things like that way.
Definitely.
So hopefully that will help you find good food on your next trip.
That's all for today's episode of Go, See, Do, Explore. Thank you for joining us and sharing in the wonder of travel.
Keep the spirit of today's adventure alive by checking out our blog at goseedoexplore.com for even more travel inspiration.
Don't forget to rate and review us wherever you listen to your podcasts. It really helps fellow travelers find us and join our community.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep dreaming, and keep traveling by any means necessary.
I'm Christopher.
And I'm Ashleigh, bidding you farewell and happy exploring.